Hello dear friends, welcome to the lecture of Riemann integral. We are studying the properties of Riemann integral. In this lecture we shall study the next property. In earlier lecture we have studied two properties. This is the third property, which is I have written theorem number 5. If f is Riemann integrable over the closed bounded interval ab, g is also Riemann integrable over the closed bounded interval ab, then f plus g is Riemann integrable over the same interval, and integral a to b of f plus g is equal to integral a to b of f plus integral a to b of g. Actually, we are using this property earlier to obtain the definite integral. For example, we write like this: suppose the integral is 1 to 3 of x square plus say sin x, etc. Then this we are writing or using the property actually as integral 1 to 3 of x square plus integral 1 to 3 of sin x. The same property we shall prove in this form. So here f is x square, g is sin x, and the integrals are separated. But we have to prove this property using the definition of Riemann integral. First we shall prove that f plus g is Riemann integrable. So we shall start the proof as given f is, since f is Riemann integrable on the closed bounded interval ab, that means by the existence theorem of Riemann integrable function, f is continuous at almost every point in the closed interval ab, or that means the set we shall write as EF, the set EF of points in AB where or at which f is not continuous is of measure 0. So this is the meaning here. F is almost continuous at every point means the set of points at which f is not continuous is of measure 0. Also g is Riemann integrable, and same result we can write about g. The set, we denote that set by EG of points at which points in the same interval at which g is not continuous is of measure 0. Now we take the union of these two, and thus the set EF union EG is of measure 0, because we have proved earlier that union of sets of measure 0 is also of measure 0. So this is union of two sets of measure 0, and therefore is of measure 0. And if we consider x in this interval, if x belongs to the closed interval AB minus EF union EG, those numbers or those points in this closed interval A to B, after deleting this set EF union EG, then f and g or f comma g and hence f plus g are continuous at x. See what is the meaning of this. We have deleted the points of discontinuity, and therefore if x belongs to this interval A to B from which this set is deleted, then f and g becomes continuous at x. And because f and g are continuous, their sum is also continuous, and thus f plus g is continuous at almost every point in the closed interval AB. So because this is discontinuous at some discrete points or countable number of points, and therefore it is continuous at almost every point in the closed interval AB, and therefore Therefore f plus g or is Riemann integrable. Therefore f plus g is Riemann integrable over the closed bounded interval a to b. This we have proved that f and g are Riemann integrable, then their sum is also Riemann integrable because of this. Further, we shall prove this property: integral a to b f plus g is equal to integral of f plus integral of g. Next we consider if j is any interval of AB or any interval contained in AB, then we have f of x. Then for x belongs to this j, f of x plus g of x is less than or equal to maximum of f on j over j plus maximum of g over j. See what we have considered: j is any interval of or contained, any interval contained in AB. Then for x belongs to j, for any x belongs to j, we have f of x plus g of x is less than or equal to maximum value of f over j plus maximum value of g over j. So these are the maximum value of f. This is maximum value of f and this is maximum value of g, and therefore any sum of any values will be less than sum of the maximum values, and therefore we can write maximum of f plus g over this interval j will also be less than maximum of f over the same interval j plus maximum of g over the same interval j. Now this can be verified by taking some example. So for example, if you consider f as having discrete values, say if f I can write like this, having the values, say for example we are considering say these, and g I shall take the values, g having the values say like this, and I shall consider here 8 and minus 5, etc. So for example I have considered, and what will be f plus g? F plus g will be 3, 7. If you add these respectively, 3, 7, again this is 3, or that is the same value, and this is 2, or if I consider this as 9, then this will be 4, and this is 2. These are the values of f plus g. What is the maximum of f or m of f? In this interval, suppose the interval we have considered as minus 5 to 9, and maximum value of f is 7, and what is maximum value of g? Maximum value of g is 9. And what is the maximum of f plus g? Maximum f plus g, that is m of f plus g, is equal to 7, and you see this is less than or equal to m of f plus m of g, maximum of g, and thus that's why we can get this relation. The addition is taken in any way, and therefore maximum of f plus g will be always less than or equal to maximum of f plus maximum of g. That result we have. Now we shall consider sigma is any subdivision of AB. Let sigma be any subdivision of the closed interval a to b. Then we have the integral a to b of f plus g. This integral is less than or equal to upper sum of f plus g over sigma, or upper sum of f plus g on the subdivision sigma. And again this upper sum of f plus g will be less than or equal to upper sum of f plus upper sum of g, because upper sum is defined in terms of maximum value of the function, and therefore by this relation we can write this part. First you see this integral a to b of f plus g is less than or equal to upper sum of this, because the least or greatest lower bound of f plus g is the upper integral. So but here upper integral is same as the integral, because f plus g is Riemann integrable. So we are not writing the upper integral. So upper integral is always less than or equal to upper sum, any upper sum, and therefore this integral is less than or equal to upper sum of f plus g. So integral of f plus g is less than or equal to upper sum of f plus g. This result holds always. And what is the upper sum of f plus g? By this relation, this is less than or equal to upper sum of f over sigma plus upper sum of g on sigma. So this is the relation that we have, and we shall suppose this as 1. See, this relation we have written with the help of this relation between maximum values of f plus g is less than or equal to maximum of f plus maximum of g, and then we have considered a subdivision of sigma, subdivision sigma of ab, and integral a to b f plus g will be less than or equal to upper sum of f plus g, and that the result is written using this statement. And now we shall consider this again. F is Riemann integrable over the closed bounded interval ab. Now f is Riemann integrable over this closed bounded interval ab, then by theorem 1, yes, this is theorem 1, we have proved the condition for Riemann integrability of function in terms of upper and lower sum. By theorem 1, given epsilon greater than 0, there is a subdivision. Sigma 1 of a comma b such that this upper sum of f on sigma 1, upper sum of f on sigma 1 is less than lower sum of f on sigma 1 plus epsilon by 2. In place of epsilon, we are writing epsilon by 2. What we have proved in theorem 1, that if f is Riemann integrable, then upper sum of f on any subdivision is strictly less than lower sum of f on the same subdivision plus epsilon. In place of epsilon, we have written epsilon by 2 purposefully, because same result we are using for the next function as g. And now further, this is less than or equal to. Now you see, lower sum is always less than or equal to lower integral, and therefore we can write here, we have used integral is less than or equal to upper sum, and lower sum is less than or equal to the integral, and but the lower integral is same as the integral here, and we can write integral a to b of f, because f is Riemann integrable. So lower integral is same as upper integral is same as the integral, and actually this is lower integral, but it is equal to the integral plus epsilon by 2. This relation we will have for f for a subdivision sigma 1. Now we consider g is Riemann integrable. Also, g is Riemann integrable over the closed bounded interval, same interval a to b. There, and for this sigma, there is a subdivision. There is a subdivision. Another subdivision we should consider, sigma 2 of the interval a to b, such that for the same epsilon we are considering, such that upper sum of g on sigma 2 is less than lower sum of g on sigma 2 plus epsilon by 2. 1 epsilon by 2 we have used the earlier, and here we are again writing epsilon by 2, and that is again less than or equal to this lower sum of g on epsilon by 2 is less than or equal to lower integral of g, but lower integral is same as the integral, because g is Riemann integrable, and this is less than or equal to integral a to b of g plus epsilon by 2. So thus these two relations we have. Now we shall consider sigma as the refinement of both sigma 1 and sigma 2. If sigma is equal to sigma 1 union sigma 2, then sigma is a refinement of both sigma 1 and sigma 2. And therefore, if you consider the refinement, the upper sum decreases and the lower sum increases. And therefore, in place of the upper sum of f on sigma 1, if you consider upper sum of f on sigma, then that quantity will be less than or equal to this one. And therefore, we have upper sum of f on sigma. See, this I am replacing this in this statement, the left side I am replacing by upper sum of f on sigma, and the right side this is strictly less than, and the right side we write the same, integral a to b of f plus epsilon by 2. And similarly for this we replace it by upper sum of g on sigma is now this is less than this, so it will lie here. Upper sum of g on sigma is less than upper sum of g on sigma and sigma 2, and that is less than, this is relation is strictly less than the integral a to b of g plus epsilon by 2. So these are two relations we have. Upper sum of f on sigma is less than this integral, and upper sum of g on sigma is less than integral g plus epsilon by 2. Now we shall make use of this in 1. See what is the statement 1, integral a to b f plus g is less than or equal to, see the right side, extreme right, is less than or equal to upper sum of f on sigma, that is here, and upper sum of g on sigma, that is here. So if you replace these two terms by these integrals, then from 1 we get, so I should write, then from 1 we have, see the left side I shall write as the same, integral a to b f plus g, and that is this plus this sum, upper sum of f plus upper sum of g, but upper sum of f is less than integral a to b of f, so that I can write integral a to b of f plus epsilon by 2, that is sum of these two means sum of these two, that is the expression is less than sum of these two, and the sum of these two we can write integral a to b of f plus integral a to b of g plus epsilon by 2 plus epsilon by 2, and that is epsilon. So thus this is the relation that we have, and now epsilon was arbitrary. Epsilon is a very small number, and therefore if you add a very small number on this side, then the left side becomes less than, and if you remove this small number, then these two will be less than or equal to. So that is the relation between the two terms or two integrals on two sides, but epsilon was arbitrary, can be chosen as small as we want. Epsilon was arbitrary, and therefore we have integral a to b of f plus g is, this relation now becomes weak, less than or equal to. If you remove epsilon, then the relation will be, this expression on left side is less than or equal to integral a to b of f plus integral a to b of g, and we shall suppose this as second. See what we have done here, epsilon was arbitrary, that means a very small quantity, and if a very small quantity is added on the right side, then the left side becomes strictly less, and if this very small quantity is removed, then the left side will be less or equal to the right side. That is the relation we have. Now we shall consider the on the second part we want to prove the equality. So we have proved this is less than or equal to the right side, and the converse also we shall prove this is greater than or equal to the right side also, right side expression also, then they two will be equal. Now f and g are Riemann integrable. Next, since f and g are Riemann integrable, So are minus f and minus g. And minus g. So this follows by our theorem number say 3, theorem number 4. So if f is Riemann integrable, lambda f is also Riemann integrable, and lambda can be taken as minus 1. So if f is Riemann integrable, so are minus f and minus g. And these are Riemann integrable means we can replace f and g, or we substitute for f and g as minus f and minus g. So therefore we substituting, and therefore we can substituting minus f and minus g for f and g. In 2 we replace or we substitute f by minus f and g as minus g. So what we should get is the left side is integral a to b minus f minus g, and is less than or equal to integral a to b of minus f plus integral a to b of minus of g. And here this negative sign can be taken outside the integral. We can use the relation earlier we have proved. Integral of lambda f is lambda times integral of f, and here lambda is negative 1. So this is minus integral a to b of, or inside we can write minus of f plus g. So this can be written, and that is minus of integral a to b f plus g. This is less than or equal to, and here both negative sign we can take outside, and this can be written as integral a to b of f plus integral a to b of g. See, the negative signs we have taken outside. This is by theorem 3. Theorem 4 it is. And now see, we multiply by negative sign or minus 1 on both sides. Multiplying both sides by minus 1, the inequality reverses. If you multiply an inequality by a negative number on either side, the inequality reverses. Also, if you take the reciprocal, the inequality reverses. Here we want to remove this negative sign, so we multiply both sides by minus 1. The inequality reverses, and thus we get as see, the integral left side is integral a to b f plus g, and this is the inequality is less than or equal to, and that reverses means it becomes greater than or equal to, and right side will be integral a to b, negative sign eliminates, minus 1 into minus 1, that becomes plus on this right side also, integral a to b plus integral a to b of g, and we can suppose this result as 3. Now you see what is the second result. Our second result is integral a to b f plus g is less than or equal to integral of f plus integral of g, and the third result is integral f plus g is greater than or equal to integral f plus integral g, when both 2 and 3 holds, if they are equal. A quantity is less than or equal to each other means the two quantities must be equal, and therefore from 2 and 3 see, we get integral a to b of f plus g is equal to integral a to b of f plus integral a to b of g, and this proves the theorem. This is what we wanted to prove. So this proves the theorem. So in this way we have proved this result. First we have proved if f and g are Riemann integrable, then f plus g is Riemann integrable, and then we have proved this relation by obtaining second result, and then replacing f and g by negative f and negative g, and then multiplying by minus 1, we get the third result, and from 2 and 3 the equality follows. So this completes the proof of the theorem. Thank you for watching the lecture.